InterviewSuccessFormula.com. InterviewSuccessFormula.com presents Preparing for a Virtual Job Interview. Believe it or not, hiring managers at 60% of companies are using virtual interviews nowadays. So this is something you definitely need to be ready for. The reason they do it is, well, convenience. It's an easy way for them to interview a large number of applicants all at one time or within a short period of time. It's convenient for you as well because you can interview with a company without having to drive in or fly in. Now, it also has its own unique set of challenges. For example, you might not be accustomed to using Skype or a webcam. You may not be comfortable with that yet. So we're going to give you some tips on how to approach and prepare for the virtual job interview. Now, a virtual interview is in some ways the same as a face-to-face interview. For example, you might have 2 or more rounds to the interview. Just because it's a virtual interview doesn't change the basic rules, okay? You still want to review your resume, you want to know as much as you can about the company. All of those old rules apply. So, yes, it is different, but in many ways, it's exactly the same. There are also significant differences between a virtual interview and a face-to-face interview. Obviously, the environment is different. You are able to choose oftentimes the environment in a virtual interview, which could be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. You'll be possibly in the comfort of your own home, and that could be an advantage. Also, the overall tone or the feeling of a virtual interview is somewhat different. And that's why you need to practice doing it many times before you actually go through with a real virtual interview. So we're going to give you some tips and ideas on how to get used to it and how to get a feel for that particular type of interview. This first step you can take is crucial, even though it might seem basic. You want to test out your hardware and software in your computer, especially the webcam. Test out the program you'll be using, whether it's Skype or something else. Test out the microphone or the headset, whatever you're using. You don't want to have problems, like technical problems, in the middle of an interview. That could be pretty embarrassing and it might appear unprofessional. So test all those things out, and if you could actually test it out and have somebody on the other end talk to you and make sure they can hear you, that's a really good step to take. Another consideration is the right setting. You want to find the right place to conduct your virtual interview. Some place where you can eliminate distractions as much as possible. Therefore, your home might not be the best setting for your interview. If you have somebody who's liable to barge into the room, or if somebody's going to make a lot of noise, then you might want to find a different setting besides your home. If you are in the home, make sure you're aware of what's behind you, what's in the background. You don't want to have an unmade bed in the background during your interview. I think a blank white wall and a bookshelf is usually a safe bet. So just be aware of these things when you choose a setting for your interview. The old saying, dress for success, still applies. Even though the virtual interview might be in your home, you don't want to be wearing pajamas, okay? So don't get too comfortable. You still want to dress just like you would for a face-to-face interview. Also, just like with any other interview format, you want to check your nonverbal signals that you're sending. You want to have a normal-looking, natural smile. You want to look enthusiastic. And you want to check your eye contact, although now we're talking about virtual eye contact, which means if you have a webcam, you want to make eye contact with the webcam, not the face that you're looking at in the monitor. So that's something you'll have to get used to, and you want to practice that. Perhaps the most important advice I can give you is to do a test run. Take it for a spin. You don't want the actual interview to be the first time that you're trying this out. Alright, so try it out with a friend. Try it a few times and get some feedback. Make sure, like we said before, make sure the equipment is working. Make sure your eye contact is working for you. See how you look. Check the way you're dressed. Check what's in the background. Check the background noise, the distractions. Try it out, see how it works, and that will make a big difference when the big day, the actual interview, comes. Alright, well, I hope you got some good tips and strategies about mastering the virtual job interview. If you want to learn more, go on over to interviewsuccessformula.com. You can check out the latest job interview success tips, techniques. There's a free report, there's a video, articles, blogs, lots of great stuff there. So get the formula and get that job. interviewsuccessformula.com.